Hello and welcome to the news update on Papyrus Global TV. My name is Christiana Babayo. But before we begin, here are the headlines. Federal government accused of losing control over northern security. Federal government vows to intensify military pressure on terrorists. Niger State resumes Christian pilgrimage, sets December deadline. Tinubu appoints Marwa as NDLEA chairman. Federal government moves to revive National Career Project. Governor Yusuf set to present Kano's 1 trillion naira budget. And now the news in full. Former presidential candidate Gbenga Olawepo Hashim has publicly warned that the federal government is losing its grip on security in northern Nigeria, citing a surge in coordinated terrorist attacks. Hashim voiced concern following a recent gun battle at a police outpost in Rogun village, Patigi local government area of Kwara State, where 2 security operatives were killed. He pointed to renewed attacks in Kebbi State, including the abduction of 25 schoolgirls and the killing of a customs officer as part of a broader trend. He argued that these incidents show terrorists now operate across large areas of the north without fear of the state, and warned that rural communities are being governed by fear, as non-state actors fill the vacuum. Hashim called for an urgent restructuring of Nigeria's security architecture, demanding a national response to what he described as a quiet surrender of territories to armed groups. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to intensify its fight against terrorism, banditry and violent crime, following a wave of recent attacks raising public alarm. At a press briefing in Abuja, Minister of Information and National Orientation Muhammad Idris said President Bola Tinubu directed all security agencies to be placed on the highest alert ever. The government has already deployed additional military and police forces to Eruku and Kwara State, responding to a deadly attack that claimed lives. Idris described attacks on security officers, the abduction of schoolgirls, and a recent assault on church as motivators for a more aggressive strategy. He also rejected narratives that portray the crisis as religiously motivated, stating that the current challenge is criminality, not sectarian war. Vice President Kashim Shettima is currently in Kebbi State on the president's mandate, engaging with affected families, traditional rulers, and security leaders to coordinate rescue efforts. The Niger State government has announced the resumption of Christian pilgrimage activities after a period of suspension. The development was confirmed by the state Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board, which revealed that preparations are underway to enable intending pilgrims participate in the next batch of overseas Christian rites. According to the board, Governor Muhammad Umar Bago has approved logistical and administrative arrangements that will support a smooth exercise, including security coordination, medical screening, and documentation processes. Officials disclosed that the intending pilgrims have until December to complete all payments, registrations, and verification steps required for the trip. They emphasized that strict compliance with the deadline is essential due to international processing requirements and the need to finalize travel manifests ahead of the scheduled departure. The board also assured participants that welfare, spiritual guidance, and safety protocols will be prioritized throughout the pilgrimage. The government encouraged Christian faithful across the state to take advantage of the renewed opportunity to participate in the spiritual exercise, noting that pilgrimage remains an important channel for reflection, devotion, and moral renewal. A federal high court in Abuja has sentenced Hussaini Ismaila, a suspected ISWAP Islamic State West Africa Province commander, to 20 years imprisonment on terrorism charges. Ismaila was found guilty on a 4-count charge under the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act relating to several attacks on law enforcement facilities in Kano State, including police stations. He originally pleaded not guilty, but changed his plea to guilty following prosecution testimony. Justice Nwite ruled that Ismaila should serve all sentences concurrently, backdating his jail term to August 31, 2017, the date of his arrest. The judge also ordered that he undergo rehabilitation and radicalization during his confinement. We will now go on a short break, and when we come back, the news will continue. Stay tuned.
The Papyrus Global We don't just cover events, we create cinematic experiences. From red carpets to birthdays, gala dinners, and your fairy tale weddings, we bring your moments to life with high-tech precision. Our gadgets are smarter, our lenses sharper, and our team simply world-class. Trust the Papyrus Global to tell your story in the boldest, brightest way possible.
Welcome back, and now the news will continue. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the reappointment of Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The renewal of Marwa's tenure comes amid widespread commendation of his leadership since his appointment in 2021, during which the NDLEA recorded major breakthroughs in drug interdiction, destruction of narcotic networks, and prosecution of high-profile traffickers. Under his stewardship, the agency has seized record quantities of illicit drugs, dismantled several international trafficking syndicates, and introduced reforms that strengthen its operational capacity. Analysts credit Marwa with restoring public confidence in the NDLEA and repositioning it as a frontline institution in the fight against narcotics. The presidency noted that the continuation of his tenure will allow the agency consolidate ongoing reforms, deepen intelligence operations, and expand rehabilitation programs aimed at reducing drug abuse across the country. Marwa is expected to sustain the momentum by enhancing partnerships with international anti-drug bodies and state governments. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to reviving the long-stalled National Career Project, assuring Nigerians that the work is ongoing to address structural and regulatory issues that hindered previous attempts. Speaking through aviation authorities, the government explained that the project is being redesigned to reflect global aviation standards, private sector partnership requirements, and a more sustainable financial model. Officials disclosed that the new approach focuses on transparency, compliance with safety regulations, and elimination of legacy obstacles that undermine earlier phases. The Aviation Ministry confirmed that expert consultations are underway with international aviation bodies, aircraft manufacturers, and private investors who have expressed interest in participating in the revived project. Government sources also emphasized that the new national carrier is expected to boost employment, improve regional connectivity, and restore Nigeria's competitiveness in the global aviation market. While no official launch date has been fixed, authorities assured citizens that steady progress is being made towards making the airline operational. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has formally presented a 1.368 trillion naira appropriation bill for the 2026 fiscal year to the Kano State House of Assembly, marking the first time in the state history that its annual budget has crossed the trillion naira threshold. The presentation held on the floor of the Assembly follows earlier indications from the Governor's office that Kano was preparing its most ambitious financial plan, yet one driven by accelerated infrastructure expansion, urban renewal, and significant social sector investment. Kano State Governor Yusuf told lawmakers that the 2026 proposal, tagged Budget of Rejuvenation, represents a bold but realistic roadmap designed to consolidate ongoing reforms and deliver inclusive development across the state. He attributed the expanded fiscal capacity to improved internally generated revenue, enhanced financial discipline, and the plugging of leakages within government agencies. Under the proposed framework, 934.64 billion naira, 68% is dedicated to capital expenditure, while 433.49 billion naira, 32% is set aside for recurrent obligations. The administration said the capital-heavy structure reflects its resolve to aggressively upgrade infrastructure and human capital assets. Education received the single largest allocation of 405.35 billion naira, representing nearly 30% of the total budget. The governor said the allocation underscores his administration's commitment to expanding access to quality education, rehabilitating existing schools, and supporting a new round of teacher recruitment and training. The infrastructure sector is earmarked for 346.29 billion naira, aimed at accelerating urban renewal, modern road networks, mass housing schemes, and environmental redevelopment projects across the state's metropolitan corridors. Similarly, the health sector will receive 212.25 billion naira, much of which will go towards strengthening primary healthcare facilities, modernizing general hospitals, and addressing the state's growing demand for maternal and child health services. Governor Yusuf also highlighted agriculture, SME development, job creation, and social welfare as additional priority areas, stressing that his administration intends to build a more resilient and self-sustaining economy. He called on members of the Kano State House of Assembly to give the appropriation bill accelerated but thorough consideration, noting that the effectiveness of the 2026 plan depends on timely legislative approval. The 2026 budget is more than a financial document. It is a commitment to long-term transformation and a renewed promise to the people of Kano, the governor said. The budget presentation has already triggered significant public interest, with analysts noting that it positions Kano as one of the most ambitious subnational governments in Nigeria as it targets bold development outcomes through robust capital spending. And that's all we have on the news. Stay tuned to our subsequent programs. I am Christiana Babayo. Thanks for joining us.